Welcome to the HPE Alletra Storage 5000 Family Hardware course. This course will provide information related to the hardware that comprises the storage array. HPE Alletra Storage 5000 models are the HPE Alletra Storage 5010, 5010H, 5030 and 5050. As the model number increases, so does the supported raw capacity and performance. Up to 6 HPE Alletra Storage 2120 expansion shelves are supported. The 5010 and 5030 support in-family controller upgrade up to the 5050. The 5010H was announced with the release of OS version 6.1.2 and support in-family controller upgrade to the 5030H. The chassis LEDs are located on the bezel panel in both the upper right and left sides of the array. The LEDs included in the left panel are for the B controller. They include the controller ID, controller status, and the controller power. The right panel contains the controller shelf power button and status along with the A controller ID, controller status, and controller power. 5010, 5030, 5050 controller shelf drive layout. When setting up the system, the installed drives will be configured using triple parity RAID. Dual flash carriers support the SSDs used for cache. Each shelf will have its own triple parity RAID configuration. When adding a drive enclosure to a system that is already configured, the expansion shelf requires activation and it will create a triple parity RAID configuration for the installed drives. The 5010, 5030, and 5050 support up to 6 expansion shelves. The HPE Alletra 5010H is a half-populated model. Each 11-drive hard drive set creates a triple parity RAID set. Once the shelf is fully populated with 2 activated RAID sets, it can be upgraded to the 5030H as part of an in-family upgrade. A cache upgrade is recommended if the capacity upgrade is installed. The controller PCIe riser cage has 3 PCIe slots. The HPE Alletra Storage 5010 and 5010H has a single CPU and only supports installing PCIe cards in slot 1 and slot 3. There are 2 onboard 10G base T ports. Optional iSCSI and fiber channel adapters are available. They are purchased in pairs and both controllers must have identical configurations. The SAS port LEDs indicate the connection of the P1 and P2 SAS IN ports and the expander status. There is a SAS wide port cable that is used to connect to the expansion shelf. It is a single cable with one connector for the 2 SAS ports. The back of the HPE Alletra Storage 2120 expansion shelf has 2 expander I/O boards. The LEDs on the expander show the status of the expander firmware and the SAS link status. Each expander module also has 2 IN SAS ports and 2 out SAS ports. The HPE Alletra 5010, 5010H and 5030 ship with the 1200 watt power supply unit. The HPE Alletra 5050 ships with the 3000 watt power supply unit. The HPE Alletra 5010, 5010H and 5030 also support the 3000 watt power supply units. The HPE Alletra 2120 expansion shelf ships with the 1200 watt power supply unit. There is an optional 3000 watt DC power supply unit kit available. Both power supplies in an enclosure must be the same wattage. There are 2 1x4 SAS downstream ports. Connect the expansion shelf to either port. The systems support up to 3 expansion shelves per port. It is recommended to distribute the expansion shelves between the 2 paths. Take a moment to review the cabling diagram and click play to continue. The supplier has discontinued the quad-port 16GB FCHBA, however, with the release of OS version 6.1.2 the system will support the quad-port 32GB adapter. The quad-port 32GB FCHBA must be installed into a PCIe slot with 16 data transfer lanes. This means when installing the quad-port 32GB FCHBA into the HPE Alletra 5010 and 5010H, the card must be installed into slot 3. The HPE Alletra 5030 and 5050 will support the quad-port 32GB FCHBA in slots 1 and 3. These are the various PCIe cards that we can use to populate the slots of the controller shelf. Take a moment to review the optional PCIe adapters and click play to continue. Port assignments are fixed and are based on the expansion slot the adapter is installed in. Notice that slot 1 is rotated 180 degrees as compared to slots 2 and 3. When an SFP plus Ethernet NIC is installed in the slot, the port names will begin with TG slot port. For example, TG1A. Data Services Cloud Console. HPE GreenLake Product Activation. During the manufacturing of the system by HPE, a certificate will be provisioned and installed for that system. This certificate contains details such as the serial number and SKU of the system. When the system attempts to connect with the cloud data services, the certificate will allow Data Services Cloud Console to authenticate the system is an HPE Alletra storage system and associated with a specific customer. The system certificate is signed by a CA that is trusted by Data Services Cloud Console. The system also has in its own root store the trust anchor of the CA used to sign the Data Services Cloud Console tunnel certificate. The system will register with HPE GreenLake before a trusted connection can be established. Once registered, the system sets up a secure bidirectional communications path tunnel to a single Data Services Cloud Console instance using MTLS. This tunnel allows the establishment of a connection, facilitates bidirectional communication and sending of events. The customer is not involved in the setup or management of the tunnel connection, beyond setting up a network configuration and specifying a proxy for the device. The onboarding, registration, process will determine which instance the device will connect to. The system establishes and maintains the connection instance that was identified during the registration process. All communications between the system and Data Services Cloud Console is encrypted. Note: air-gapped sites require an approved deal exception. After approval, HPE support will configure the cloud enablement override on the group and the customer will then be able to use CLI to set the mode to off, read-only or read-write. Take a moment to bookmark these available resources and then click play to continue. Learning checks. Thank you. Your feedback is important to improve your training. Please complete the course evaluation.